Today, my guest is Christopher Lindsey, principal of George Washington Carver High School in Columbus, Georgia. Chris, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you again, Doc.
Good to see you too. Chris, give us the WikiLeaks version of where you went to elementary school, middle school, and high school and college.
Okay. In regards to elementary school, I went to St. Mary's Elementary School, which was basically in walking distance of my house. When I got to middle school, we were bused from St. Mary's Road all the way to Arnold Middle School.
Oh man.
And then when I got to high school, we were bused from St. Mary's Road all the way to Hardaway High School. In my college career, I followed the footsteps of my dad as well as my brother, and we all graduated from Savannah State University. It's
Savannah
now
State.
Savannah State University. At the time, it was Savannah State College.
Yeah, and what was your degree in?
My degree was actually in marketing.
Marketing.
My brother's degree was in finance, and my dad's degree was in education.
Well, I knew about your dad. I also knew that your dad was the first certified Black educator in Muskogee County.
Yes, sir.
I remembered him giving a talk about that at Shaw one day. I thought that was fascinating that he had been through so much education at the very beginning and then
Correct.
ended up as an assistant superintendent. Who was the teacher, Chris, that made you decide, yeah, I think I want to be an educator?
Actually, it was my marketing advisor at Savannah State. She called us into a meeting one day, and she said, if the world of business doesn't have any opportunities for you at the moment, you may want to consider going into education. And she had a gentleman that came in, I think he came from Chatham County School District, and spoke with us and told us about the different routes and different classes that we could teach with the degrees that we would have at the end of our college career. And after I graduated from Savannah State, I started working with New York Life Insurance Company as well as Equifax in Atlanta, and it got a little bit too hectic. And I didn't like having to work two jobs and working year round. And so I said, let me try this education thing out. And I started off as a substitute teacher, mostly at Spencer High School and Columbus High School, as a matter of fact.
And I'm sure your dad had an influence on that also.
Yes, he did. He did. He basically he told me I need to get a job that pays real money and benefits, right along with him being he helped me out, as a matter of fact, getting into substitute teaching. And Dr. Ronnie Sheehan, who he was good friends with, brought me on board as a full-time teacher January of 1995 or 96, one or two.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Ronnie Sheehan is the guy that talked me out of continuing my life as a band director and going into administration.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether to love him or not forgive him for that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
you you know when you became assistant principal at Shaw, you seem to enjoy your work more than any assistant principal I've ever known. Uh, what did you learn as an assistant principal that helped make, if anything, that helped make your job today a little easier?
Well, the first thing was the fact that we had a family atmosphere at that time at Shaw High School. I looked at how you ran the organization as well as Mr. Overton ran the organization. And what I started doing, I started observing the ones who were successful inside the classroom, successful in the administration, and the ones that the kids actually respected. And so I just took on some of those qualities from each and every one, and as well as yourself, because when I came over here to Carver, I took everything that I had from Shaw over here to Carver. And everything didn't work over here, but it was a good start for me. It was a good foundation. And that's what those are the things I actually learned at Shaw High School. I learned how to run a building, period.
Well, good. I'm glad that came in handy. Now,
Yes, sir.
what year did you become principal at Shaw, Chris?
My first year was the 2005, 2006 school year.
So you're going on almost 20 years there now.
Almost, yes, sir.
So what are you going to
18.
be when you grow up?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Other than the fact, what's that word called? Retired.
Yeah, right, right.
That's what I'll do when I grow up. Yes, sir.
Well, now listen, I know about your restorative justice program at Carver, and
Mhm.
explain to people what that is and what kind of difference that's making in the disciplinary attitude and outcomes at Carver.
Mhm. Well, the biggest thing that it does, to be honest with you, Doc, is it forces the parents to come in and have a conversation in regards to the reality of their kids, whether it be a boy or girl, and it breaks down how to behave inside of a school building. And if they don't get it, if they hadn't gotten it from middle school or to the point that we needed to operate inside of this school building, then we start to refer you to the This Works program, which is run by Coach Flowers. And it actually brings down a lot of the tension that takes place between teachers and students. It also breaks down the reality of how you're supposed to carry yourself inside of a school building, on and off campus, to be honest with you. And so that takes a lot of patience to do so. And what we've been doing, we've been working with Dr. Flowers for the past 5 years, 5 or 6 years in regards to it. But it just breaks down how to actually behave in a institution like Carver High School or any institution, period. And a lot of those kids are not getting that information at home. And so all they know how to do is act the fool. You remember that word? Act the fool. That's
I
it.
do. I
Or cut the fool.
do. Either way. Well, listen, I know that that was never a consideration with you because you had a healthy fear of your dad.
Right.
And I did too. Now, I'm not saying that I was scared he was going to kill me, but that was not out of the range of possibilities if I messed up bad enough.
Correct.
And I
Correct.
did not want my teachers to have to call my parents at all. I
No.
think that's one thing that over the past decade or so has really changed. And I
Yes.
am glad to hear that you are forcing parents to become involved in their child's education and
Right.
to help make them responsible for their own learning.
Right.
If nothing else happens, that's positive right there.
Correct.
Now, tell me some of the biggest challenges that you faced as principal.
Mm, to be honest with you, right now, the biggest thing that I face, Doc, is hiring teachers. There are none out there. It's back in the early 2000s, you had a boatload of people that you could choose from in regards to filling the positions that you have. You can actually wait to the last minute to try to fill something. But now it's a dry pool. It's hard to find anybody that wants to come into education, and I get it. And the reason why I get it is because of the the discipline that takes place, or not the discipline, let's say the students' behavior is what turns people away from the profession. And when it's not punished appropriately, then teachers feel defeated. When you feel defeated, you go tell your friends that you're defeated. And then your friends go tell somebody else. And then everybody's like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I don't have to deal with it. I can make more money somewhere else.
You're right. I understand that the average life expectancy, as far as career goes for new teachers, is 5 years or less.
Yeah. Yes.
And we're also losing a lot of our experienced teachers.
Yeah. That's the big part too. The veteran teachers can teach the younger teachers how to conduct the classroom in a proper manner. And a lot of that doesn't exist anymore. some departments that I've had, like English, math, science, and social studies, which are the most important, I've had a overhaul within the past 2 years.
That makes it difficult for you and for students, doesn't it?
Correct. Correct.
So how do we recruit more young people into teaching?
Well, the best thing to do is increase the amount of money that they make.
Well, you know, that's one thing I saw that the legislature has done, or at least proposed this year. I don't know if it's been passed or not, but there's a pretty good salary increase. But I I'm afraid what we're going to have to do is convince the legislature to bite the bullet and not just increase the salary, but make a significant percentage increase rather
Right.
than the 1 or 2 or 3% they're used to doing.
Right.
And that's the only way we're going to attract more people
I agree, Doc.
into the profession.
I agree. I agree. The ones who start the foundation of our society, which is the teachers, they get paid the least.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
Well, you know, it's hard to convince a legislature who gets paid a significant amount for a part-time job that teaching is more than just a part-time job.
Right.
But I think our superintendent is making some positive gains in that area.
Yes, he is.
You know, Richard Woods. What kind of support are you getting from the community, Chris?
Oh, Doc, as far as my particular position, the alumni association that I have is the best alumni association there is in Columbus, to be honest with you. Anything that I need, anything that I want, they'll provide for me. They'll raise the money just like that. The parents that I have are the best parents in the world. Some may hate me at times, but eventually they'll figure out my madness, the method to my madness here. And they're just supportive to the point where I don't have to really worry or want for anything. If I need something, I can call somebody. If I gotta have something right away, I can call somebody. It's just it's almost down to a science right now. It
That's
actually
great.
is down to a science right now.
Well, you know, the students see that cooperation, don't they?
They sure
That's
do.
bound to have a positive effect on them too.
They sure do. We have so many different organizations outside of Carver that come and feed the football team free of charge every Thursday before every football game. We have the Alumni Association. Like we have a marquee outside in front of the school building right now. They cost about $26,000. They raised that in 2 months. We have a statue of the first principal here. That cost 40-something thousand. It took them 5 months to raise $45,000 to erect a full statue that we have of the first principal that ran Carver High School.
Who was your first principal, Chris?
Dr. You would put me on the spot. Oh God. God. It's on the tip of my tongue. And he's right outside. I can't even think of it.
Hey, it'll come to you in just a moment. I have moments like that too.
You know, when you get older, that
yeah, well.
SP Charleston. There it is.
Oh, okay. All right.
SP Charleston.
Good, yes, good. So how many students do you have, Chris, right now?
Right now, we currently have about 850 students.
Good. What's your average class size?
Average class size is probably about 26, 27 students.
That's not too bad. Still a little big, but not too bad.
Correct.
What's your most recent graduation rate?
91%.
That's pretty impressive.
You know what the graduation rate was in 2005, 2006?
I'm gonna guess it was somewhere in the 60s.
45. 45.
Oh my.
45. That's what I inherited.
Yeah, I remember. I definitely remember. Now tell me this: when you do find a teacher candidate in any given subject, what do you want to know from them?
Actually, I want to know how passionate they are in regards to the job that they're about to take on. I also want to know how much they know prior to taking on the job title. I want to know exactly what it is that you know and what you don't know so that I can provide a support system through my academic coaches so that we can make you a successful teacher. We have a in-house professional learning opportunity for all teachers, English, math, science, social studies, and anybody else in electives. But we provide that each and every month with a gentleman that comes from West Palm Beach, Florida. His name is Terry Morgan, outstanding young man. Knows Marzano better than Marzano. And he has come and helped us over the past 7 years, as a matter of fact, to help our teachers find how to make the classroom engaging and kids wanting to come to class and learn whatever it is that the subject is.
That's excellent. So are you able to pay your teachers to serve as mentors for younger teachers?
Actually, we can't pay them, but what we do is we provide them with opportunities to participate in other extracurricular activities
I got you. I got you.
that require payment.
Good, good. As long as there's a reward for
Right.
helping younger teachers, other
Right.
than the reward of helping people on their own, that's
Correct.
great. Now,
Correct.
you played sports as a student, didn't you?
I did. Wrestling.
Oh yeah, okay, good, good.
I wrestled for Philip Marion.
Oh, okay. I guess that's why you got along with Alton Pitt so well.
Right.
Yeah. Well, listen, I wanna brag on one of your teachers here. I saw your band last year and this year, and I got to tell you, the improvement in those groups
Right.
has just been astronomical, and I am seeing some real teaching going on in that area.
Right. Right.
And you pat that young man on the back and tell him he's doing the right thing.
I sure will. I sure will. He has that discipline component that's needed in that particular area.
Yep. And he's teaching a lot of things besides just music through that, teaching a lot about life, and I am
Mhm.
always happy to see that.
Mhm.
Now, what other programs in your school can you point out and say, I'm really proud of the progress in this area or that area or the other area?
I'm real proud about the fact that we're gonna move towards instead of STEM, we're gonna move towards a STEAM magnet program, which includes the arts.
Yeah.
Our fine arts department, Doc, is outstanding. Our drama, chorus, orchestra, as well as band, they're right on point. And my art teacher. All of those are outstanding individuals. And I can't say enough about them. That's the only reason I said that we need to move towards a STEAM certification as opposed to just a STEM certification. Those four people together, they're outstanding.
That's great. I was one of those kids in high school that I came for band, and just sort of put up with the other stuff just because I had to get to play in band. And I
Right.
know there are a lot of other kids the same way about chorus and orchestra and
Yep.
art.
Yep.
And it's a real motivator for a lot of the kids like that. I also know your sports programs have been outstanding for a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, going on 17 years. I think out of the 18 years, we probably had probably two seasons that were terrible. One was my first year. I think we went 3-10 or 3-8, something like that. And one of those wins was from a forfeit. And the other one was I think it was like 2017. That was terrible too, when we lost to Spencer for sure. So
I saw where one of your former coaches is now the head coach at Georgia Southern.
Georgia State.
Georgia State.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's pretty impressive for that young man.
That it is. Dale McGee.
Yep,
Dale
that's
McGee.
right. Well, listen, how about your CTAE programs? I know being a marketing person, that is something you know a good bit about. Have you seen a renewed emphasis in CTAE over the last few years?
Actually, I have, and that's due to the fact that kids are now seeing, I don't necessarily have to go to college to get a good paying job. If I follow this path, as far as whether it be marketing, whether it be construction, auto tech, uh, health occupations, food nutrition, if I follow those things, I can find a job that pays just as well as any other job with a degree. And so, yeah, we've seen an increase in regards to kids' interest in going into those classes and using that as a catapult to go to a college or university or into the world of work.
Well, you know that movement a few years ago about all children must go to college, I
Mm-hmm.
thought was probably one of the more misguided things that education has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wish I made what auto mechanics and plumbers make.
Right, right, right. Same here, Doc.
Well, good.
Same.
I'm glad that that you're seeing an emphasis in those areas.
But the
Now,
one thing is, though, Doc, what I see is Columbus, in regards to all the CTE programs that we have, is not bringing in the corporations that should be brought into this area to provide jobs for those individuals.
hmm. Now, I
I
think,
see all the time on the news where
yeah,
Alabama has this large corporation coming in and setting up and going to provide so many jobs. This particular area is not doing that as much as I think they should.
I wonder why that is.
I don't have a clue. We got an industrial park that's halfway empty.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
hmm. Well, I hope they can find a remedy to that pretty soon. Now,
Right.
what are the biggest issues you as principal face on a daily basis, Chris?
Um, you know what hurts my heart, Doc, is to see so many kids that have disrespectful behavior towards adults. I cannot stand that. That eats at me each and every day, and the lack of home training, it frustrates me, and sometimes it contributes to you saying, you know what, I give up, but then you have to, pull yourself back and say, I'm doing it for everybody else too. I gotta stay in this for everybody that deserves to have a safe environment, to have a good quality education. But the disrespect is at an all-time high.
That's amazing. And that speaks to parent input, I think, as much as anything else.
Yes, home training.
And I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but I think a lot of it has to do with single parent households.
Well, I think so, but I've experienced a lot of kids that have single parent households, Doc, and they're the perfect kid inside the school building. They're the role models of the school building. It's I think it's what they're exposed to.
Yeah, there are a lot of single parents too that understand what
Hmm.
their children are supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do.
Right.
And you're right, it's probably more a case of the knowledge and expectations of the single parent.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
Well, good.
That exposure to things that they don't need to be exposed to as a young child, that contributes to it too.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now,
Mhm.
let me ask you this, Chris. Are you involved in mentoring other administrators?
I have been, like right now, I have constant communications with Maudrice McNeil, who's the principal at Hardaway.
Hardaway, right?
I think Maudrice is in his second year right now. I think he's
That's
in his second
correct.
year, as a
Yeah,
matter of fact. And as a matter of fact, I used to coach him at Shaw.
I
So
know you did. Yeah.
yeah, we talk to each other all the time in regards to what, some of the things that he's inquiring about as far as being exposed to over there at Hardaway as opposed to what I'm being exposed to. And we share notes and we try to mentor each other, to be honest with you. Even though I'm the oldest and I'm the more experienced, we still we still take ideas from each other.
That's great. I've always thought that part of our responsibility as administrators was to help other administrators, go or find solutions to some of the problems that may have stumped us.
Correct.
Well, now, let me ask you this now. For your own personal health and well-being, what do you do to regenerate or renew after a tough day or a tough week?
Well, what I try my best to do, Doc, is not to take work home. When I go home, I'm at home and I want to enjoy whatever it is that I'm doing at the moment at home without thinking about work. And that has helped me out a whole lot. I
Good.
don't go home thinking about work. I don't take anything home. I don't even take my laptop home. I just when I get back, I learned this from you. When I get back, if it's still there, it's gonna still be there. And I'll handle it when I get back.
That's great. I'm glad you figured that out.
Yes,
How
sir.
how is your family doing?
Family's doing well. Family's doing well. Mike is in the 6th grade and
I can't believe that.
playing football and basketball.
I find that difficult to
Under
believe.
guess who? Under Jeremiah Edwards, who was also a football player at Shaw.
Golly. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeremiah was one of the smallest defensive centers, if I
yeah,
remember right.
yep. That's him.
I
That's
was
him.
always impressed with that young man.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
Well,
Lord.
how do you motivate students, Chris, to continue to make an effort, even after say they screwed up and failed a class,
Hmm.
or they've gotten in trouble from a disciplinary standpoint? How do
Hmm.
you motivate them to continue on and try to do better rather than just give up?
I just try to give them the real deal facts, Doc. And I tell them all the time, if you don't take advantage of what we have here at Carver High School, everything right now is free of charge. Everything right now is, if you get in trouble, you'll get a second chance. But once you get out to the real world, I'm telling you right now, and this is how I talk to my kids, you will not necessarily always get a second chance to redeem yourself or get that particular, I guess, perception that you're a good person uh, across to your employer, or if you're the employee, you're not going to be able to do that all the time. You're not going to be able to get forgiveness for everything. And so if you don't take advantage of it, you might find yourself winding up in and out of jail or prison. You might find yourself on drugs or alcohol, walking up and down the street, talking to yourself, or you might wind up dead. The best thing to do is just listen to the things that we have here and take advantage of everything that we have here, and you'll be successful. But if you deviate from it, there's consequences. And when you have consequences, you may not like it, but everything has a consequence. So I
Yeah.
just give them a real deal. I don't try to sugarcoat anything for them. I just let them know what reality is about to do to them after a couple of years of high school.
That's a great point to make to a kid. They seem to think, I remember thinking at that age that life was going to continue to be like it was in high school. And
Right,
and I didn't see that my teachers were much easier on me than life ever was.
right, right.
And that
Because
employers and teachers are not the same thing.
that free lunch is going away, that free breakfast is going away. Uh, People that really truly care about you, that's going to be going away. So take advantage of it now, learn what you can, and use it out there in the real world to make
Excellent
yourself a
point.
productive citizen.
So you don't have any idea what you're going to do after you retire.
Um, I think I'm going into real estate, Doc, to be honest with
That's not a bad idea,
you. Mhm.
one of our former students at Shaw has done pretty well in real estate, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
And
As a matter of fact, the young lady that sold me my house about a year or two ago, she was a Shaw student, and she said I suspended her at one time.
but it was for her own good.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right, right.
she didn't charge you extra because of that.
Nah, no, no, no,
Okay.
no.
So, what advice do you have, Chris, for any prospective administrators who want to one day do what you have done for well over 20 years now?
If you're going to be successful, Doc, you're going to have a support mechanism as far as personnel that are just as smart as you and can help you run things on a daily basis where you don't have to make all the decisions inside the building. And if you're going to be if you think you're you're going to be a what do they call those kind of people that hover over people all the time?
Oh yeah,
Micromanager.
micromanaging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're going to be a micromanager, you're going to be dead soon. That's what you're going to be. But you got to be able to have those people in place that can take the load off of you, handle things in the proper manner, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't have those people where you don't have to worry about it, and you have to keep on checking up on them time and time again, it'll drive you in the ground.
Yes, well, I saw one of our former teachers just a few days ago, and she reminded me of something that I told her one time, that good teachers make administrators look a lot smarter than they really are.
You're exactly right, Doc.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Well, Chris, listen, I enjoyed talking to you, and I hope to do so again. You got any parting words of wisdom?
Doc, I want to thank you for everything that you did for me. I really appreciate it. You introduced me to a whole lot of things that I need to be exposed to. And my success here at Carver High School is directly associated with you, as well as Coach Flowers, Coach Pitts, Coach Fitz, everybody else. But you gave me that opportunity, and I was fresh out the classroom, and I hope I didn't disappoint you.
No, you didn't.
Appreciate you every day of my life in regards to what you did for me.
Chris, it was my pleasure. Always, always looking for bright young men to help make our profession better. And before we go, tell Charles Flowers if he doesn't answer his emails, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I sure will.
All right, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
All right, Doc. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.